Welcome all to our General Assembly meeting in April. We just got done with our Graduate Council Town Hall, which was awesome. If you missed that, the video recording of that is going to be on our YouTube channel, which of course this recording will be as well. So today, like I said, we just got done with the Graduate Council Town Hall. We are going to have a welcome message from Nagla for our new e-board members, which you'll hear from right afterwards. We'll say a sad goodbye to Mac as she signs off with us, and then we are going to have an open floor with Dean Burke. So we have some leftover questions from the Graduate Council Town Hall that we thought were perfect questions for her. So I already have those coming for you, Dean Burke. And then we're going to talk about the Graduate Student Appreciation Week, GSAW events that were already passed this week and upcoming ones for tomorrow. And then we'll end with some end of year presidential comments, and we're going to take a quick Zoom photo. All right, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nagla to welcome our new e-board members.
Thank you so much, Lexi. And it is always a pleasure being in this space with the wonderful graduate students. And I have an added pleasure having graduate council members like Ben Dyson and Dr. Vidya. And it is always a pleasure seeing Dean Burke and Dr. Craig and our great advisors, Dr. Adrian. This meeting is not nice for me because, you know, Megan, this is the last meeting of the year. I will miss you all. And the summer, we need a break. We will have a break. But really, I will miss seeing you all and talking with you and being around you. I wanted, before I welcome Claire and Alex, I would like to thank you all for your trust and for re-electing myself as a president for the GSA for next year. And on behalf of Lexi, we are so grateful to your confidence and re-electing us. And we wish to do the best for us all and to go stronger together. So happy to see Karen Sabo, our artista grande. I haven't seen her in a while. So thank you for your confidence. And my heart aches because, my goodness, Mac will graduate. She will graduate. I will miss her so much. She is one of the best persons I have ever met in my life. And we are so lucky to have Claire, our new treasurer from kinesiology. She will keep us on the run, I promise. She is so fast. And Alex will be our chair of student engagement. He is such a wonderful person. I am so thrilled to continue working with a wonderful team and with all graduate students. And now let's all welcome the wonderful Claire and Alex.
Thank you, Nagla. Okay, so let's turn it over. Alexander, you can go first if you just want to say hello and maybe any type of goals that you're looking forward to implementing next year. Alexander, are you muted? I can't find you. Well, Claire, are you ready? Do you want to go first? Perfect. Go ahead, Claire.
Hi, guys. So this is Claire. Just to remind you, thank you so much for electing me. I am really excited to work with all of you and get to know you. I'm going to be treasurer, and it's a hard role to step into because Dr. Pearson is sadly leaving us, and she was just, I know, fantastic at it. But if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns in regards to, you know, how you get funding or refunded for either your projects or maybe conferences, do not hesitate to reach out. I look forward to responding to all of you and getting to know you, and hopefully for funding whatever endeavors you have going on. I want to make next year the best year possible, especially when now that we're kind of hopefully, fingers crossed, with all these vaccinations, able to step back into normalcy. I would love to continue to support you in whatever you guys need, especially financially. So continue to reach out, and I will hopefully respond as quickly as possible.
Thank you so much, Claire. And Alexander just popped back on. So Alexander, we were just welcoming you both two new e-board members. So if you'd like to just pop on, say hi, and if you have any goals you'd like to implement next year.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I had to step away. There was a puppy emergency, so a little frazzled. My name's Alex. I am a PhD student in the Nano School, for some of you that you know, and I would like to take the way that the student engagement committee is structured, and it focuses on a couple of issues like housing, money, etc. And so I kind of want, sorry, I'm just like way out of breath chasing this little puppy around the house. But I wanted to kind of take each of those bullet points and then assign action items to returning members of the Senate and then new members of the Senate, but kind of like take them in a way that we can become a resource to other students in our departments, because we're busy graduate students. We get tons of emails. So how do we best disseminate information? And so I think a lot of student concerns can be funneled in through the committee that I chair. So that's what I want to do. I'm going to work hard this summer to sort of structure that so we can hit the ground running in August. And then our first meeting in September, we can just get going.
Woo, thank you both so much. We're both very excited to be working with you. They were at the distribution with us yesterday, so we really got to see how our group dynamic was going to work. And it was great because we got hit hard the first 30 minutes with people coming through. So thank you for all that came yesterday. Thank you, Claire and Alex. Oh, Mac, I went ahead too far. All right, so now we're going to hear a closing statement from Mac Pearson, Dr. Mac Pearson, that's graduating this semester. Mac, you can go ahead and take over.
Yeah, did you get my other slide on there, Lexi? Perfect. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. I came in like a year and a half ago when the treasurer position was vacant. And so thanks for believing in me and trusting me. And thank you for your patience along the way as we've learned and navigated the PDF for how we're using it differently during COVID times. And I'm really excited that we were able to get the RCF for funding off the ground. I think it only benefits the mass majority of students, and I feel really good about getting that back up and going. And I just know Claire is going to do such a great job. So really just thank you guys for allowing me to be your treasurer for the past about year and a half. It's been a really fun ride. And I'm excited to take everything I've learned from you guys and take it with me as I leave UNCG. So thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Mac. It's a bittersweet moment for us. We're proud of you. We're glad that you're graduating, but of course we will miss you. But very thankful you gave us Claire before you left. So with that, we're going to move into our open floor with Dean Burke. So we are always happy to have Dean Burke at one of our meetings. And we thought maybe we could kind of address what next year is going to look like. And then I did have a couple of pre-submitted questions for you, Dean Burke. So to start us off, does anybody have any question that they want to start with before I start with our pre-submitted ones? No, I'll start us off then.
Okay.
All right, let's see. Okay, one question, Dean Burke, we had, how should online graduate students be able to access all the support that UNCG offers to in-person students?
All right, so part of it's a really easy answer, because now that we actually get more people showing up to our events through Zoom than we do face-to-face. So, and I get it. It takes time to walk across the campus sometimes or drive in. So I think that Dr. Bell and I are committing to always have a Zoom experience parallel to what we're doing face-to-face, so that everybody can take advantage of that. We've had success with our virtual boot camps and our virtual writing groups, so we're going to continue with those. So, unfortunately, though, online students and online programs don't pay student activity fees. So there are many things that you don't have access to that are provided out of the fees that the main campus students pay. So one thing for online students that you can do is, send me a list or just any idea that you think is really missing and that online students need. I have asked the Division of Online Learning to create an orientation specifically for online students. With COVID going on and everything, I wasn't able to follow up to see if they did that, but I know that Dr. Bull and Dr. Yost are looking into that. But again, just let me know specifically what sort of support services you want, or that we can enhance your experience here, and I'll see what we can do. But I can't give you a gym pass. Sorry.
Thank you, Dean Burke. Does anybody have any comments based off of that? Otherwise, I'll keep going. So these were pre-submitted questions for the Graduate Council, and Dr. Bell and I agreed a couple of them were a little bit better suited for you, Dean Burke.
Okay.
So next one, if you were, I'm just reading this as a student gave it to me, if you were not employed before COVID and are now required to, in order to complete 690 and graduate, should UNCG be holding paid positions for graduate students?
That sounds like an individual question rather than a collective concern. You have to complete all of the credit hours that are required in your plan, and I don't get a magic wand to waive those kinds of things. So if there's a course that's required in your plan, even if a faculty member makes a mistake and signs a plan of study, once it gets to our office at graduation time, a degree audit happens, and if we catch an error, you're not going to graduate unless there's a way we can fix it. But if your degree is 30 credit hours and you've only taken 27, there's nothing we can do. So remember, you are responsible for knowing all of your policies, everything. Okay, so I know it's not a fun thing to do to read through the catalog or your handbooks, but ignorance of a policy or requirements is not a free pass to not do something. And I don't mean it's a free pass. Mistakes happen, but in terms of accreditation, there's no way I can waive the number of credit hours in a degree.
Can I
Thank
just ask
you.
a question, Lexi?
Please go ahead.
Yeah.
So with that, Dean Burke, can we check in with the graduate office? So we've submitted our plan of study. We think we've done all the courses and fulfilled our credit hours. So can we check in with the graduate office to double check, before we get into our last 1 or 2 semesters, that everything is okay? I'm talking as a PhD student, as we just go into thesis extension hours.
Absolutely. And it's going to be much easier this fall because we are launching DegreeWorks. I don't know if you're aware of what that is for the undergraduate students, but we will be launching that this fall. So you'll be able to go in and pick up your plan of study and see how you're doing against your degree plan on your own even. But it's a soft rollout, and graduate plans are much more personalized than an undergraduate curriculum. So we are anxious to see how that goes as well. But yes, at any time, and again, there's another thing to remember too. What's weird is I can't tell who was speaking to me. It didn't light up. I guess that's okay.
It's me.
Oh, Maurice. Okay, thank you. Oh, that's right, Lexi. You put me on spotlight. That's why. So you enter in a particular catalog year. And if your curriculum changes after you have entered, you have to satisfy the curriculum of your catalog year. So if something got more flexible later after you join the campus, you can request to move forward in a catalog. But unless you do that, you must satisfy the degree requirements of the catalog you entered. So if you entered in 2020-08 and the name of the degree changes in 2021 fall, you're going to graduate under the old degree name, like chemistry was it medicinal, bio, whatever. Chemistry had a weird name, and now it's chemistry. But I see a ton of people still in the old catalog who are going to get on their diplomas and their transcripts the old degree name. So just be aware of that. So your plan of study is based on your catalog year. Okay? And that's how degree works. That's a tough one to say. It'll, so Maurice, you entered in whatever year your degree works is going to build your catalog to your degree, and that's what you're bound to. So if you know that your department and program are doing some curricular changes, if you kind of like the direction they're going, like they've dropped a requirement of this, or there's more flexibility now, invest in looking at, is it worth it to move forward in the catalogs? And it's a simple form that you fill out. You said it's a soft rollout. So Rose, right now, so we had to start with our 2019 catalog because that's what we tried to do 3 years ago, was to get into DegreeWorks. That is fully scribed. Now the 2020 catalog is fully scribed, and we're waiting for an update for both grad and undergrad for the 2021 catalog to be fully scribed. And once that's done, we're gonna, I have to look through it first, and I have to understand how it all works. And then Dr. Bell and I and a few others will be writing instructions so that you students will know how to go in and log in and look at your things. This won't serve as your actual degree audit this year. Your degree audit will still be done by Mary Early, Molly Taylor, or Beverly Lucas. But the following year, everything will be in the DegreeWorks. So DegreeWorks is both an audit tool, but it's also got a planner. So you can build your own plan semester by semester by entering your credits in and what you need to do, and then figure out which semester you're going to take what. And I've done this with my students for 20 years now, built their semester by semester plans with them, and everyone's graduated on time because they didn't miss a class or they didn't, whatever. But I'm a stickler that way. So let's see what else in there. Yeah, trickle down never works. Maurice, I don't know the answer to that. We had to pick a date of where we started the catalog, and we sent, I think it's the 2019 catalog that we sent off, but the academic year and the fiscal year always get me goofed up. So we'll check on, you can pop me an email and I'll look at it. My DegreeWorks person comes in to the office on Tuesdays. I can pop them an email anytime though. Okay.
Awesome. I have another one. So again, reading from a student that pre-submitted, my contract for my assistantship clearly states that I should not have another job while working as a GA. Besides this scholarship application, are there other avenues of funding for life expenses that are available to graduate students to subsidize the lack of income while completing our degree?
Federal student loans, rich relatives. It's horrible. So the reason why we prohibit you from working off campus, if you're on a 20-hour-a-week assistantship, is you've got to put 20 hours a week in on your assistantship and doing that work. And then you've got a lot of classroom work that you have to do. And if you're trying to work at Target another 20 hours a week, you're not going to be able to do very well in your schoolwork. And if you drop below a 3.0, you lose your assistantship. So it is a little bit of a vicious cycle. And so saving as much money as you can over the summer. Our stipends are too low. I actually have a money tree in my office. You can come see it. And I sometimes feel like I'm printing money, but it's an issue around the country. And I know that there's a group of student affairs graduate statewide that are going to the legislature to talk about the need for better support for graduate students. It is on the radar of every single faculty member. I've talked with our advancement team about this becoming a priority in our capital campaign. And when I mentioned that our graduate students are eligible for food stamps, which if you didn't know that, you are, if you need help with food, the big donors are appalled when they hear that. So I'm shouting out about that every place I can. So, by the way, if you're not aware of this, you don't have to answer, but there is a safety meals program at UNCG through the Dean of Students office. I don't know how you apply for it, but this is one of the few things that is open for international and DACA students, undocumented students. So I guess it's like if you're really, really in a jam with food, you apply for something through the Dean of Students office and you're given a swipe card. So you just go and it doesn't identify you in any way as being food insecure. You just swipe your meal. You know, you might get a couple all you can eat meals. I messaged Nagla about having the GSA sponsoring a food pantry that will run out of the graduate school at Mossman. I know that not everybody is comfortable going to Christian ministries to pick up food. And I can get the faculty really behind this, I think. So we're going to, Nagla and the E-team will work with this. Thank you, Lexi. Yeah, I didn't know about these food safety meals out of the Dean of Students office. Dr. Bell and I had never heard of that. And for you international students that are on the line, I know you keep hearing from me about trying to get you summer support. It is coming. I have some. I had to get these the monies that were given to us from COVID that I could only spend on domestic students or in-state students. I've exhausted all of that, and for every award I gave out of there, carves out money that I can give to an international student. So international students will start hearing about summer support very, very soon.
Yeah, you have a couple questions. If you want to start with Dale Baker's question, he was first.
Let's see. Yeah, let's see.
I can read it out loud, especially for
I can see it. So, so for a while, Dale, raise your or wave at me. Okay. So Dale, for a while there was a qualitative research specialist in SES, and she was working with the School of Education to build a team of qualitative researchers. And I think when she left the university, that kind of died on the vine. If you want access to qualitative research, I would look in the School of Music. They have an excellent, in fact, they just started a journal of qualitative research. There are some pockets of it around the campus. And this is one of the things that Dr. Bell and I have talked about, and many other faculty members, is there's a version of statistics that you can take with every flavor of prefix, and it may be better for us to combine some of our expertise to carve out the ability to hire someone with more qualitative expertise or whatever. There's an analysis there that needs to be done. And the other thing, Dale, is just starting 2 years ago, if a class hasn't been offered for 3 years, I think it is, it's removed from the catalog so it will no longer tempt you and tease you. So I'm sorry about that. So
Dean Burke, I'm going to read Maurice's question out loud just so the recording will make sense. So Maurice says, so with that in mind, what can be done about increasing stipends or hourly pay? I know it varies between departments, which seems unfair. Some are below minimum wage, aren't they?
I don't know of any that are below minimum wage because that's not allowed. And if you know of one, email me through Minerva's mailbox and I will take care of that. The money for stipends comes from the departments themselves. And usually they have stipend money because they decided not to hire a faculty member so that they could pay graduate assistants. The graduate school doesn't have any stipend money. We give it out. We gave it out several years ago because it was silly for me to just whatever I gave out every year annually, I just put over there permanently into your units. So I just was reading something about this yesterday. North Carolina is a right to work state, but it doesn't mean that grad students can't organize and I don't want to say strike, but you can agitate and advocate for better wages. And so one of the things that the faculty are just starting to get their heads wrapped around is that you don't all have to work 20 hours a week. So if you're working for $8 an hour, 20 hours a week, if you only work 10 hours a week for that same stipend and we're paid $16 an hour, then you actually have some time where you can take an off-campus job to help supplement. So these are some of the flexibility that I've built into the graduate assistantship program, but it takes a little while for that ship to turn because people are used to like it's all or nothing. And the one thing that I try to insist on is that all students get the same hourly rate within a department. If they're an undergrad, some people do it by their assignment. Like if they're a teaching assistant, they'll be paid this. If they're a research assistant, this. But I was just reading an article yesterday. So if I find that, I know it was Lexi or Nagla, maybe you can find this. It was from the University of San Antonio, and they had a task force on graduate education. And one of the things that the campus as a whole decided was that all stipends had to be the same everywhere. And it was like a 5-year plan for the central resources to start committing to that. It's a good read. It's one I just was looking at for just things that Dr. Bell and I can be doing in the graduate school for all of you. Okay. I have a copy of it. So if you don't find it, I will send it to you. Again, if someone, Maurice, if you think someone's working below minimum wage, let me know. Okay.
Dean Burke, I think I found it. I just posted it in chat. I'm not exactly sure if that's what you're talking about.
It's got a bright orange cover. So, Megan. All right, so Megan's comment about stipends. So some departments have just a pool of stipend money, and depending on how many graduate students they have, they spread it out equally. And so if there's a bigger class, everybody's stipends go down. I'm not a fan of that. And so one of the things I've been doing is I'm trying to explain to people that they have to live within their means, and that there's only a set amount of money, and if you have more students than you can afford, you don't fund students, or you drop their wages down so much. And there is some variability into the amount of money that's available in a given year. But Megan, this is something I'm aware of. Oh yeah, no, stipends haven't increased at all. No. Maurice, yeah. But neither have faculty gotten raises or staff gotten raises, or it's just a horrible situation for everybody. Megan, I'll bring that up on the QT to see what can happen. ERM ERM does qualitative. I wasn't aware of that, but that doesn't surprise me. So, Lexi, or you or Nagla taking notes, or Greg or somebody, we should develop like a handout on qualitative, all the methods classes that are out there in all the departments. Some of your curricula list like 17 different classes you can take to satisfy stats. And there's that kind of variability in some of your other methods classes too. Excellent courses, yes. Yeah, so Dale, this is exactly, will hit what you're talking about. Yep, sociology. So Maurice, the job and the stipend are tied together. So if your stipend divided over the number of hours you work per week determines if it's minimum wage or not. I don't know of any stipends below $6,000 on this campus, and believe it or not, that is minimum wage. And what I would like to argue is that your stipends be tied to the minimum poverty level of Guilford County. And I know it's horrible, or the minimum living wage is what they call it, which is $15 an hour, which for many of you would be a big bump. But, and so Lexi, I learned about that from this San Antonio study. So, so it was Santa Cruz, Cal State Santa Cruz, where they were all striking for higher wages and housing allowances. Now, some of this is because you can't live in California, period, on the wages that most students are paid. They did get fired, lots of bad press over that, and they all got their jobs back. Okay, so if organizing and advocating for yourselves is something you want to do, I think the perfect person to talk with would be Spoma Jovanovic in the communication studies. She's involved in social justice communications. And, you know, again, we're a right to work state, but there are also unions in the state as well. So we've just never gone there. Yeah, Maurice, I will do that. And I have started it. So I also have every 5 years, I get a study on average stipends around the country. And so it has given some departments some ammunition to try to increase stipend levels. So, Lexi, on the issue of parental and personal leave, unless somebody gives me a source of money to put in that you are guaranteed a semester parental leave and a semester, you know, if you have an issue where you have to stop out for a few weeks, I can't put that in as a policy because I can't tell a department how they can spend their money. So we've had a couple situations like this, and we've made it work where the student kept their GA through the semester. We found the money to hire a replacement. I can't, I don't know how to do it any more than that, but departments are not bashful about contacting me when they want money. So the worst thing we can do to any of you students who are in crisis is remove your health insurance. So kicking you out of school and removing your GA is not my first option for anything like that. So if any of you find yourself struggling in that way and you're not getting much traction in your department, that's why Dr. Bell and I are here. We kind of serve as your ombuds in that way. But yeah, I wish I could. The faculty at UNCG have the most generous parental leave policy of anyone in the system. But it comes at a cost. So we did that because that was the number one priority of the faculty in that given year. And then the faculty turned around and wonders why they couldn't also get an ombuds. And, you know, that's the thing is, I hate this saying, but it's really true. We can do anything we want to do. We just can't do everything we want to do. And so when you're out there in your faculty positions, if you're allowing the squeaky wheel and the noisemaker to get their way all the time without putting all the other priorities on the table and having a discussion about that. But I know darn well that because of the parental leave policy, which I totally support, 3 other initiatives that the faculty senate wanted that year, there was just no money to fund it. And like my parental leave policy, I can't do an unfunded mandate. So that's why communication is really important for Dr. Bell and I.
We have a couple minutes left on this section, Dean Burke. So Mac has a question.
I just had a quick clarification. Something that my department faces is that a lot of doc students, especially women, obviously start their families at the end of their doctoral degree. So there's no protection for them to keep their position or their GA ship while they are pregnant, or I just wanted a little clarification on that.
Is India Walker here? I'll just use her as an example. I don't think she would mind, but India took parental leave to have a child, like either late summer or early fall, and I worked with the department to make sure that she had health insurance, and she did not need UNCG health insurance because she was covered, and we were able to hold her fellowship or whatever her funding for the semester when she came back. And had she needed, she didn't have a partner that could support her on a living wage, we would have tried to find a way to help out a little bit. We've actually done that a couple times, but I mean, we're going to do what we have to do. But yeah, these are things I'm a person that likes to try to find the answer to get what we need to do if it's the right thing to do. And sometimes you're put in a position to ask forgiveness rather than permission. And I've been there. So all I can stress with all of you students is communicate, communicate, communicate. And Dr. Bell and I are there for you. Everyone on the Graduate Council is there for you if you're running into a jam. Okay? So when you graduate, your health insurance is in place until June 30th. It doesn't stop the day you graduate. It used to be that you had to be registered full-time after you got into extension to get health insurance or to be able to purchase health insurance. Now you register for 1 credit and of anything, you're eligible to get UNCG health insurance. So for some of you that can't afford to have a lapse in your plan, even though you may have to go from having the measly bit of graduate support that we graduate school support into self-paying, you don't lose your health insurance or the access to it. And because I started looking at this, and I found myself paying state money to get people up to 5 credits so they could be eligible to buy their health insurance. So I went on a campaign to make it down to 1, and now that's what we have. So if you don't want the UNCG health insurance, just make sure to waive it. Okay. Okay, thank you, Rose. Yeah, I mean, Dr. Bell knows this. I mean, I spend a lot of time challenging widely accepted assumptions and the things that, over the years, I don't know, I'm just sort of wide open looking for ways to help. So
Dean Burke, last comment here. Could you just give us a little update on what we think so far that the fall semester should look like?
Well, again, COVID will dictate, but we are maintaining a level of social distancing in the classrooms. Graduate education is going to look a lot like it did a couple years ago, mostly face-to-face, depending on what your faculty are doing, but all faculty are expected to be back on campus because everyone of the faculty and staff have had the opportunity to be vaccinated. And if you choose not to be vaccinated, that is not a condition of your employment or your status as a student. So if your class is face-to-face, and you got to be there. So the undergrad situation is going to be similar. The priority for classroom space is going to the freshmen because they've been a year and a half in high school without face-to-face. And so our freshmen and sophomores are going to have the classroom priority, and then every other space will be taken up by junior and senior classes. But there is a crunch for classroom space. So where we are right now is that you still have to do your ramp up research if you haven't done that already. There will be social distancing. Everyone is going to be masked. We're still doing the WWW. We're following the CDC guidelines of 3 feet. But again, if people are not being very careful out there right now, and virus caseloads are rising again, and it's the variant that is more contagious. If we have to pivot, we have to pivot. But I usually have a crystal ball in my office, which I do. I'm just in a different office. It's not telling me much on that one. So, but the plan is to, gosh, I miss seeing people on campus. I miss the serendipitous conversations. I can't stand it that I can't hug anybody. I'm a hugger. But yeah, as far as I know, we'll be back as close to normal as possible.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Dean Burke, for coming to our assembly meeting. It's always a great pleasure to host you at one of these. So next, we're going to be talking about GSAW, if you would like to stay and listen to that, if you have time.
What are you talking about?
Just the events that have already gone by and the events happening tomorrow.
Yeah, this has been an awesome week. Thank you, Lexi.
Oh, I was not just me. It was a whole collaborative effort, but it's been going well so far, so I'm happy with it.
So the only thing I'm going to ask Lexi for the future is brand your slides, blue and gold. All right. Bye.
Yes, ma'am. For the future, I will.
Remember, Minerva's mailbox is there for you anytime, and it's anonymous, but you can also drop your name if you want me to get back with you. Okay? Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Dean Burke. Okay, so moving into events past and upcoming events, I just wanted to make sure all of you were on the same page with us. So on Tuesday, we had a full day of things going on. We started off with a Mentoring Matters workshop by Dean Karen Bull, which thank you for that recommendation, Dean Burke. She was awesome. And then we had, right following that, we had a salary negotiation workshop by Catherine Goitz, and she is from T-Mobile, if you can't tell by the slide picture there. We also had LinkedIn headshots or professional headshots that were offered that day. Those slots did fill up pretty quickly, so we are hoping to host this type of event again later on. We can pay for the photographer to come back again. And then we ended that day with a fun event, trivia with the chancellor. We had a really good 2 hours with that event, had a great time, lots of laughs, learned a lot of weird trivia questions. They were pretty hard, but the graduate students were resilient. So that was a fun day. And then on Wednesday, we started with more professional headshots. So you see here, the registration was full very quickly for that event as well. Following that was an online presence workshop by Dr. Vaughn Stewart. And then we had our first swag distribution. So you can see a couple of pictures here where we were set up. This is what it's going to look like again tomorrow. So from tomorrow, 1 to 3, Oakland deck, 4th floor. We're going to go 4th floor, so none of us are getting scorched by the sun / potential storm tomorrow. And then we're going to be handing out more bags tomorrow. And if you see my little shout out here, if you missed any of the workshops, they are all on our YouTube channel. There's a special GSAW playlist on the YouTube channel, so go and check that out, and they're there for you whenever you have time to watch them. And today, we started off today with an important presentation from Dr. Jennifer Brown on combating imposter syndrome. And then we followed that with a work-life balance presentation by Dr. Randy Patterson, the Assistant Director of the Counseling Center. And then, of course, right before this meeting, we had our Graduate Council Town Hall, which that will also be posted on our YouTube if you missed that. So for tomorrow, these are still events that you can get into. So we're going to start off tomorrow morning with a career mapping and strategic planning workshop. Any of you that came to our February Come Talk with GSA met Dr. and Dean Bear from JSNN. She talked to us a little bit about career mapping and strategic planning then. Then I heard from a lot of you that was a big interest, and we really wanted to hear more about that. So she's going to really target this conversation tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We're going to break out into breakout rooms with people that are going into similar careers as us, so we can kind of work together as peers. She's going to have a couple of her students come and help. So this should be a really beneficial workshop. I hope to see a lot of you there. We're doing our second spring care package distribution tomorrow. Like I said, 4th floor of Oakland deck from 1 to 3. I would not suggest coming after 2 o'clock. I am assuming we're going to run out of bags before then. So if you really want a swag bag, which you should because they're awesome, I would come at 1 o'clock. And then we have our graduate student-led tours of JSNN. If you aren't sure what JSNN is, that's the Joint School of Nanoscience and Nanoengineering. It is a off-campus place. It's a beautiful building. They have beautiful equipment, really awesome people work there. They're doing free tours, graduate student-led tours. So anytime from 4:30 to 7:30, you can come on over, just Google the address. It's also on our website. Which is linked at the bottom here. And you can come on over, just walk up to the front door, they'll let you in, and then they'll bring you around for those tours. So expect that to be 15 to 20-minute tours if you want to see the whole building, which is very large. Following that is our Grab Grub with GSA featuring Smoke and Mac food truck. So there is going to be vegan, vegetarian, and meat options here. We only had a budget to buy 150 meals for graduate students, which of course sold out in 3 hours. That was a very popular event. But we're hoping to host this monthly once we come back next semester. So look forward to that and be ready on your email when you see that come across. Does anybody have any questions about any GSAW events that we have done or anything going on tomorrow that I can answer for you? Nothing right now. Just post this in our chat as well. Like I said, if you miss any of the workshops, they're on our YouTube channel. So I just posted our YouTube channel link in there. And a lot of the workshops were really great. I've learned so much this week. I feel like every workshop that we picked out as graduate students, what you all voted for was something that I specifically needed to hear too. So it was awesome. Okay. Well, if there's no questions about that, I'll make sure the chat. Perfect. If there's no other questions about that, then I will turn it over to Nagla for her end of year comments, and then we're going to take a picture.
Thank you, Lexi, so much for all your efforts and all the e-board members' efforts. I hope, guys, you feel how much we care about you, how much we love you, because you are amazing. You are amazing, and I can't wait to work with you again next year. And I wish to know who will graduate soon. Can you guys? Who is graduating? Karen, you're not graduating. Does it say you have to stay forever here? And Megan, are you graduating, Megan? Who is graduating? I can't see Lexi. Maybe you can see Pamela. You are the best. You are the sunshine. You are the one for diversity, equity, and inclusion. I want to congratulate whoever will graduate. I will graduate, but Dr. Bill knows that I will be here as a PhD student joining the wonderful graduate students. Yes, Megan, you didn't know about that. I will follow your steps. So it is such an honor to stay with you and be with you and be in love with you. I am like Dean Burke. I am a hugger. Whenever this COVID is over, I wish to hug all of you. I wish to eat with you. I wish to work with you. And I am so grateful to the team. You have wonderful team, guys. And we are like brothers, sisters, colleagues, researchers. We are a family. And this is what we wished for. We wish to start making GSA as a community and a family for everybody. And I hope we did that. I feel this is the blessing of my life, being a GSA president. This was a feeling for this year. It was a COVID year, Dr. Adrian, but it is my blessing. I am blessed in this year. I have no idea how you guys felt during this year, being around GSA, being with us. How did you feel working with us, Alicia? And how was the year for you? Can you put it in one word? Maybe those words will last in the chat. We save the chat and we say, this how the graduate students felt with this e-board. Can you write something in the chat about how you felt with this wonderful e-board, with this amazing e-board, with the wonderful advisors we have and we always had. Dr. Bill and Dr. Adrian, you are amazing, and we enjoyed Dr. Bugs and we miss her so much. So, oh la la, I remember Dr. Bell when first I talked with you in the phone when I was, trying to apply to be a president, and I told you, what do you expect me? What are your expectations? And you always said we need a community of graduate students. And I said I will follow your advice, creating a great community of wonderful people. Next year, it is your year. It is more empowerment to graduate students, more sunshine like Pamela and Alicia and Megan and Karen. You will be shining on campus. We will attack this campus with great graduate students. You take care, guys, and be safe and be well and be happy. I will miss you so much. Please communicate with me. I'm here. I will be always here. Thank you, Lexi.
Thanks, Nagla. So for those of you that want to be involved in the end of year screenshot that I'm about to take, please turn on your video if you are so willing. It would be lovely to see your smiling faces. Hello, everyone. I love this feedback. Thanks for everybody that dropped one word in the chat. Keep those coming. We love to hear that. We're also going to be sending out a survey hopefully next month, asking for your feedback, positive and negative, things that you think went really well this year, things that you think could have gone better, things that you want to see next year. We want to hear all of that feedback from you all. All right, I'm going to have to take 2 screenshots because there are 29 of us right now. So is everybody ready? Got our smiling faces on. I'm going to do a countdown. Oh, I just did. Okay. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, one more. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Perfect, thank you. All right, let's jump back into this. All right, and we just wanted to say, Nagla already mentioned this a little bit, but congratulations to all of you that are graduating. I know Mac is graduating off our e-board, Nagla is graduating and then coming back, thank goodness. So thank you to all of the senators that have served with us this year. Congratulations to all of you that are now moving on past UNCG or coming back for something else. We hope that you have a great summer to everyone. We are still going to be around. We'll still be checking our email periodically. So if you need something, reach out to us and we will still be here to support you. So thank you so much for coming. Make sure you follow us on Spartan Connect and our social media so you know when our next meetings are going to be, you know when events are going to be starting. You're going to get that survey that I talked about. And with that, I hope you all have a great evening. You can stick around if you have any questions for us. Otherwise, we will see you next year in the fall.